Hey YouTube, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a knife news video for you. Now, I want to talk about some interesting, fun stuff today, and I thought about a theme here, and I actually left out some stories so that I would fit the theme just a little bit better, but I think the theme for this video is going to be branching out. So to sort of get you thinking along these lines, I want to ask, what do you think about that? What do you think when a company sort of goes outside of its normal realm of expertise and tries to do something a little different? Maybe think of Donald Trump, who's a businessman who decides to go into TV, and then a TV personality who decides to run for president. Those things don't normally match up. I guess the TV politics stuff does. You've got Reagan and Schwarzenegger and stuff, but what do you think when companies do that? And to introduce this idea, let me tell you, I'm wearing right now my Casio ProTech watch, and I will do a little video about this. This is going to be part of a series. It won't be the first video. I've got a couple of them already, where I'm going to just talk about things that I really like and appreciate that really make my life better, easier, and share those things with you in sort of some short 4-minute or so videos. But this watch gets me into the first thing that I want to talk about, which is watches. I don't know if these companies have been watching Nick Shabazz videos, or if they know Jim Skeleton came out of watches and kind of went into knives, but both Spyderco and CRKT have watches in the works. And this is kind of an interesting thing. The CRKT one kind of stands out to me because they borrowed the styling from the Van Hoy snap lock with sort of that steampunk feel. And this is a knife I've never had. They've re-released it. I should pick one up, and I don't know, eventually I probably will, because I really am curious to try that snap lock out, even though the blade steel kind of sucks. I know that. Anyway, so they've borrowed sort of a steampunk look, and I'll roll that in here now. So you can see that watch is kind of cool looking, and I think it fits CRKT, and they're pretty, this is kind of in their wheelhouse. They tend to branch out, and they've got some sort of multi-tools like the Eaton tool and stuff, and they've got watch bands already. So this kind of fits for them. The Spyderco one though is a little different, and the reason it's a little different is because from what I've been hearing is they really wanted to include the round hole into the design of the watch. And so early ideas and stuff came up with a watch like this. Now, again, let me know what you think of that design. I hope that they don't do it digital. I hope that they do like the moving hands around the clock. I think that would look really cool. Although I don't know how they're going to get a spider in there. Maybe on the back, on the metal, they put a spider. I think that would be a cool touch. So those things, those companies branching out a little bit is kind of interesting to me, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, but this, I said this was our theme, and the next thing I want to bring up is a really interesting story. I'm sure my son will love it. Medford Knives introducing a comic book by with the title, or with the main character Jack Knife, spelled K-N-Y-F-E. I'll put in a picture of that first issue here from their website. Okay, so yeah, there you go. Pretty cool idea, I guess. Medford says he's trying to introduce knives to the next generation. As I said, my son would really like it. What is not mentioned in the knife news story that is pretty cool is that this could be the next Netflix original. They've been doing a lot of comic book stuff and working with Marvel. Now, Medford Comics are not under the Marvel umbrella, although it would be interesting if it was, if they can tie it in somehow. Now, I've got a little bit of a joke here, but I think the supervillain should be represented by just a silhouette of a man, and his name should be Schick Nabaz, because we all know that Nick gives Medford Knives a hard time. So that could be pretty good. Maybe Chris Reeve will get involved in that as well, and the two of them can team up to defeat Schick Nabaz. So let's move on to some other news. Switchblade ban repealed in Colorado, which is pretty cool. Of course, Spyderco is in Colorado, and it sounds like from there they're going to, maybe that'll mean some more autos from Spyderco. It would be cool to see an OTF from them. By the way, this is always frustrating to me. Every time I hear about knife laws changing, a while back it changed in Denmark, I always feel jealous because I really wish Canada would get their heads on straight and change the way their knife laws work. Maybe if Maxime Bernier, he's a bit of a libertarian, gets in, that could actually start to happen. I've got another CRKT story. Columbia River Knife and Tool, they have plans to introduce an up-the-river line of knives. So this is pretty cool. You know the Forged by War line where soldiers and various ex-military people are working to design some knives for CRKT. It's worked really well and it's been fairly popular for them. None of the knives have particularly spoken to me, but maybe that'll be different with this next up the river line of knives, which are going to be designed by inmates. There's quite a bit of experience there, of course, and you know they certainly are no strangers to edged weapons. And so these guys are going to be making some knives that will incorporate some of their experience and some of their ability to improvise to come up with those knives. Reich Knives, another cool story here. Reich Knives has that Thor 3 coming out, which is an integral, which looks pretty cool, but I kind of feel like, let me know if you agree with me on this one. I feel like it's borrowed a little too heavily in its styling. It's not a direct copy at all, but every time I look at one, I just see the Marfione. Now I can't even tell you which one it is, but I think they've kind of borrowed from Microtech in that knife. Anyway, not the end of the world. Please someone fill in the knife I'm thinking of down below. I just, for some reason, my brain is not clicking with that title right now. Lastly, I want to touch on a cool story about Rob Bixby. You guys know the Apostle P, great guy, one of my favorite knife reviewers. Did really well a while back when I did the top five YouTubers as voted by other YouTubers. Rob has done a couple of collaborative works, one with GEC and now one with Bark River. The Bark River one is a fixed blade, pretty cool looking 4-inch blade, nice looking fixed blade. And in that story, he went on record and said he does have plans or some ideas in mind around a modern tactical folder. And that's pretty cool. Now, I did, you know, what I've heard about this, and this has been pretty popular, and I don't know, I don't know anything about how much they paid him, although I have heard that Kaiser has paid really well. Apparently, the modern tactical folder that Rob is working on may come out under the Kaiser brand, maybe built by Kaiser. I think money talks in that situation. A little bit of background on that. I did reach out to Rob to get a comment on this, and his comment was it'll be a ball bearing flipper, 1/4-inch stock, really, really overbuilt, fairly short blade of 3 inches or maybe 3.5 inches, S90V, and they're working. Being overbuilt is cool, but he's insisting that the weight be under 8.5 ounces. So pretty cool story there. And I definitely look, Rob knows what it takes to make a good knife, so I'm looking forward to what he comes up with. There you go, guys. That is my, sort of main stories that I was interested in. I may put out another knife news video that isn't quite as restricted to these kinds of stories where branching out, people doing things that they're not used to doing. But remember, we've got a watch company, a knife company doing a watch. We've got a knife company doing a comic book. We've got a YouTuber designing knives. So lots of sort of variation here. Let me know what you think about that. This video, of course, will be posting April 1st, 2017. So look for in the next couple of days, by the 3rd or 4th, I plan to have a follow-up video out with a few other knife news stories that are of interest to me that maybe don't fit this particular narrative quite as well. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, especially so you don't miss the follow-up to this. We will talk to you soon.